I've been a tad distracted for the last while. About a week ago, my inbox for my major email address, my business email address, the inbox disappeared. Nobody knows why. Nobody knows where it went. But when it disappeared, in addition to my emails sent and received disappearing, my calendar also disappeared and all my contacts. So I lost my calendar, my contacts, and my primary email inbox. And it was a little distracting. It's a week later, and the computer person who usually can fix anything has not yet been able to figure out. He spent time trying to retrieve information. It's not retrievable, apparently. And so far has not been able to reinstall at least a basic program so I can begin to rebuild contacts, rebuild calendar. In the meantime, I've had people phone because, were you going to be at this meeting? Oh, it was in my calendar, but I couldn't remember because I couldn't check my calendar. I didn't remember everything that was in this week. Anyway, you can tell it's been a tad distracting. And here is what I have learned from this week, or what I'm thinking about this week. And perhaps not so much about I had a week, but probably the whole world is having this experience or some version of it, in addition to the general, all the COVID stuff. But all around us, systems are crumbling. And many of them need to crumble. Structures are crumbling, and many of them need to crumble. There are a whole lot of things that we called normal that should not have been normal. So, crumbling all around us and perhaps crumbling within us. One of the really obvious experiences I was having this week was noticing I teach stuff about stay grounded, find your center, trust the universe knows what it's doing, all this stuff. And I can say with authority that talking about that and teaching about that is exponentially easier than living that and doing that. So teaching is easier than doing. Having said that, why I'm telling you about this is what I mostly, not always, but mostly have been able to do is the same old, feel what you're feeling, sit with it, do whatever you need to do, to sit with it until it begins to shift. In my case, it took about 3 or 4 days with various ups and downs. The second thing, find some little corner of your world where you have some sort of structure or order that you can count on. In my case, what it turned out to be was my morning routine. That there's some things I do every morning, including sometimes I have a boring, every day the same day breakfast. Anyway, whatever it is that you can, this part of my world is stable, even when actually nothing is stable. And I found that helpful too. But the big thing, coming out the other side, somewhat, knowing that even though the inbox is not yet restored, and it may take a while before it is, and it will never be back the way it was. One of the things that came to me was perhaps I needed an entire new list of people I contact. Perhaps I need a whole different set of events and appointments and activities that I have filled my life with. If a structure crumbles, there's elements of catastrophe And if a structure crumbles, it's also an enormous opportunity, at least to look at, not just to go back the way it was, but look to how it could be that might be bigger than any of us could imagine. And now we have the opportunity. So one of the things I ran across in my reading this world was dream what you've never been able to dream about before. And without an existing structure, maybe the old structures crumbling make room for something wildly new and wonderful that, as long as those structures were in place, would not have been possible because it couldn't even have been imagined. I'm hanging on to that. And today, I'm feeling it. The other thing I discovered in the last 24 hours, besides that it's easier to teach stuff than it is to do it, is that I actually could access the generic energy of joy. No content. I wasn't happy because or joyful because. There was no because. It's that I could find the place in my heart where joy lives and let that joy fill up. And I invite you to do your own version of whatever is the kind of energy that you would love to be experiencing. How do you want to feel? It's a very useful question. How do you want to feel? And then feel, let yourself ask your body, ask your spirit, ask your heart, ask your emotions, ask your thoughts. How do I want to feel? And then where does that feeling live? And how can I experience it now? Imagine it filling up your body, filling up your heart, filling up your thoughts, filling up your emotions, filling up your spirit. It does not necessarily change the external world. My inbox is still somewhere in cyberspace, never to return. It doesn't change the external world, but when our internal world is a higher vibration, everything gets better no matter what is going around, whatever is going on around us. And so it is. Bye for now.